welcome to Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer, your host for the program. Greatly appreciate you being a part of the show today. We have with us just a wonderful young man who is new to New Orleans. He and his family have been here for 2 months. Gregor Tremmel is the Consul General of France, who now makes his home in New Orleans. Blaire Tritle is with City Year New Orleans, and she's going to be with us to talk about the City Year program. Steve Waguespack. Steve is the president of WABA, and also Patti Muller. Patti is an artist here in New Orleans, and she has got a special presentation that she is going to be making to the residents of Sandy Hook, and you'll definitely want to see as a first-time artist what she's put together, and we've actually got the piece on the show. We've got a great show lined up. Appreciate you being here. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Great show lined up for you today, and I'm really happy that you're able to take a part of this. One of the things that we get to do on the show from time to time is introduce some new people to the area, and we could not be more thrilled to welcome the new Consulate General of France, Mr. Gregor Tremmel, to the program. I hope I didn't do you injustice by pronouncing your name with a Southern accent.
That's great. Tell it with your wonderful Southern accent.
And Gregor, you have been now in New Orleans 2 months.
Yes, that's it.
And you and your family are from Denmark.
Yeah, yes, we're coming from Denmark. Okay. We were posted there.
And tell us a little bit about, for our audience members who might not know what a Consulate General does, tell us exactly what your role is. And I believe you'll be in New Orleans for like 3 to 4 years, right?
Yeah, 3 to 4 years.
Okay. All right.
4 if I do well.
Well, first of all, welcome.
Thank you very much, Steve. And it's a pleasure to be here in your program and to meet you.
Thank you so much.
So the Consulate General of France in New Orleans is the oldest consulate of France in the U.S. It was created in 1804.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
wow,
just after Napoleon sold Louisiana to the U.S. And we are dealing, of course, with the French nationals, making sure that everything's fine for them, and with the French tourists coming to New Orleans, and they are very numerous. And we are dealing a lot with culture, French culture, and francophonie. As you know, there are almost 200,000 people speaking French in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
And not just in the Cajun from Acadiana.
Yeah.
And my friends, of course, I've been in Lafayette several times already in 2 months, and I'm loving it. I'm always welcome there.
I'm sure you will love it, and I'm sure they'll love you too.
I hope so.
Lafayette is a great community, a wonderful community.
Yes, very welcoming and warm. And we are dealing with we have the CODOFIL, the Council for Development of French in Louisiana, and it's more than 100 of French teachers working in schools teaching French in Louisiana, so that we deal with that with the CODOFIL, which is a state agency from Louisiana, and culture, as I told you. And I try to do my best to attract French companies to make trade and what we call business diplomacy to Louisiana.
So you've actually, while you're Consulate General, you've got a pretty busy schedule.
Yes, very busy schedule. Very busy schedule.
Well, Greg, let me do this. Before we run out of time, you are the honorary chairman for the upcoming Beaujolais Festival.
Yes.
So, and you're doing that in partnership with the French-American Chamber of Commerce.
That's it.
I'm very happy that Cox is a member of the French-American Chamber, so we greatly appreciate a partnership we have in that. So talk a little bit about the Beaujolais Festival and how people can get involved in that.
First of all, thanks to Cox for your support.
Our pleasure.
That's great. The Beaujolais is the French wine from a region close to Lyon. And every year there's the harvest, the new harvest is coming, and we are launching the new harvest, the new vintage. And so we organize the French-American Chamber of Commerce, which we work a lot with at the consulates, and they do a great job. We organize a big party, a big festival on the 20th of November. It's in the Marriott at the Convention Center in downtown. Okay. And so we're going to have good wine, good food from very, very fine and good French.
It's French.
Not just French restaurants. But
you know you'll have good wine and good food.
Yes, that's it. That's a common point we have with New Orleans.
Absolutely. And we love that.
We love life. We love life.
And let me just point out, Gregor, the website is facc-gc. We've got that on the screen.com.
Yes.
And all information about the Beaujolais Festival can be found on that,
on this website,
along with other things that are going on with the French Chamber, I believe, as well. Again, welcome to America. I hope you have a great stay. extend an open invitation to you to come back on the show whenever you
Thank
want.
you very much,
We love having updates. We love our partnership with the French Chamber and appreciate all the great work you guys do in the city. We have a lot together that we share with the French and the New Orleans culture. So I hope you have a wonderful stay. Stay with us.
Yeah.
We've got more guests coming up. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. We greatly appreciate it. Very happy to have with us Blaire Tritle. Blaire is the Development Director for City Year New Orleans. Thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And we were talking, you've been with City Year for
3 years.
Wow, so a little bit of time to get your feet wet in the organization.
Get sucked in.
Blaire, talk a little bit about City Year New Orleans and the mission of the organization and some of the programs you're involved in and so forth.
Okay, so City Year is an education nonprofit, and our goal is to make an impact in New Orleans by helping low-income kids stay in school. So we really try to focus on the kids who are at most risk of dropping out. Statistically, those kids come from low-income and high-poverty communities. So what research has found is that kids who come from high poverty communities have additional stressors that inhibit not only their ability to come to school, but to come to school ready to learn. And so what ends up happening is that they can't get to school through, and it's environmental factors. Like it's things going on at home. It's all of these different things where they either can't make it to school. When they can make it to school, they have so much going on at home. They have so much going on in their heads that they can't focus on their lessons. So they end up falling behind.
Now, is it elementary school or elementary and high school? A little bit of both?
It's both. So we do K through 10th grade.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and so kind of once they start getting behind, they get further behind because traditional schools aren't resourced or structured to support that many kids who have additional needs. And so there ends up being like a sort of like a gap or a space between what the students need and what teachers have the capacity and resources to provide. So that's where our core members come in, is that we deploy them in schools and they're an additional resource and an extra pair of hands for teachers. Wow,
that's incredible. And let's talk about the 20th anniversary of AmeriCorps program that's taking place right now, because I believe you just kicked that off.
Yes, this year is I can't even believe it's 20 years since AmeriCorps. This is the 20th anniversary of AmeriCorps. They just had sort of the kickoff event in Baton Rouge in October. And so it's kind of a year-long recognizing kind of the impact that AmeriCorps has had, and not just in New Orleans, but nationwide. It has had a huge impact in New Orleans, but it's kind of just looking back on what it's allowed us to do.
Yeah. And then this program lasts for the
10
year?
months. So
10
we have
months.
10 months of service.
And at the end, is there something that happens at the end, as a accumulation of something, or?
So for our core members, they have, like an end of year celebration or like a graduation in the city.
All right, let me do this. I want to give the website, and we'll put this on the screen, is www.cityyear.org/New Orleans. All information on City Year can be found on the website as far as getting involved. Are you looking for volunteers or anything like that?
So our biggest volunteer event of the year is coming up in January. That's our MLK Day of Service. And so there will be more information updated on that website, like as that event comes closer, but that usually we recruit about 300 volunteers for that.
Wow, and we'd love to have you come back on the show and talk more about that.
Oh, for
as the time
sure.
continues. Blaire, thanks so much for being on the program. Greatly appreciate it.
No,
Best
thank
of success.
You for having us.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Again, greatly appreciate you being a part of the show today. Very happy to have Steve Waguespack with us. Steve is the president of LABI, Louisiana Association of Business Industry. And Steve, I know you drove in from Baton Rouge to be on the show, so greatly appreciate you're doing that. And thanks for being here today. We appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate the
Hey,
invite.
let's talk a little bit before we get into some the public school stuff we're going to talk about. Talk about LABE and exactly kind of like the mission of the organization and what you guys do.
Sure. LABE is the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We're the state's business chamber. We're the Chamber of Commerce. We're the State Manufacturing Association. We've got 2,500 business members around the state.
Wow.
And so that's ranging from large companies you've heard of to small mom and pops maybe you haven't heard of but are making a big difference in communities all around the state. And so we try to represent their views. And that's in the Capitol, that's in the press, that's in D.C. Just try to make sure that we can make Louisiana as much of a business-friendly climate as possible.
And you are a membership organization, right?
We are. So yeah, we encourage any listeners out there, if you want to be a member, just
Well,
call us up.
and you guys do a great job. And again, let me just point out real quick, the website, we're going to put this on the screen, is www.laba.org. So all information about becoming a member and a little bit about what LABE does and how people can get involved can be found on that website. So let's talk about, and I appreciate you again being here today, because we want to talk a little bit about Jefferson Parish Public Schools. So talk about some improvements we had, and there's some upcoming election taking place I believe we want to talk about as well.
Yeah, and I guess I would say, just to take a step back for a moment to set the stage, is, you know, we go around the state and we talk to all of our business members, and I ask them, I say, what's the most important issue facing Louisiana? And workforce is the #1 issue. And it doesn't matter where you're located, what industry you're in, our workforce challenges are the biggest impediment to growth our state faces. And when you take that next layer down and say, okay, what are the challenges we face as a state? It's really basic education. That's the true challenge. We have a population that doesn't read, write, and think to the level that we need to succeed in the global economy. So as you look around the state and you kind of figure out which areas are ripe for improvement, which areas are making big gains, Jefferson Parish is one of the shining stars in the state, and over the last 4 years they've made some big strides. And so, you know, this year there's some school board elections coming up, and we're hopeful that the population truly understands what's taking place here, and that they, you know, they sign up for another 4 years, because we feel like they're on the right track here.
Yeah, and the leadership has led to that, and I mean, again, you guys monitor all this from the state and everything, so it's great news about Jefferson Parish, and we just want to make sure that success continues to keep growing.
Yeah, 4 years ago, Jefferson Parish was a D-rated district, and now they're a B-rated district.
That's incredible.
Over the last couple of years, their school performance scores have gone up 25%. Wow. They're in the top 10 in the state in several different categories, including improved graduation rates, improved number of highly effective teachers. You know, there's several things that they've improved on, and we think it's because of strong leadership at the superintendent level and the school board level, and so we hope they can continue that mission.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about other things that LABE's involved in right now, because I know you've got a young professional networking group coming up.
Yeah, and you know, we do a lot of things throughout the year to try to spread the message of business. And so we just came back from our Washington fly-in 2 weeks ago, where we took members of our board of directors up there to meet with congressional officials and talk about some of the challenges we face. We've got a young professionals networking event coming up next month in Baton Rouge, where we invite all young professionals to come in and get to know each other, network, learn more about some of the business issues facing, so they can grow and expand their business as well. And then it also leads into next January. We have our annual meeting, where it'll be a huge event in Baton Rouge. We'll have Dr. Ben Carson coming in to speak to our group, and so we expect a good turnout there as well.
And Steve, all the information can be found on the website, labe.org, as far as the annual meeting, the young professional, how more people get involved in that.
Anything you want to know about us, we put it all right there. It's all there for the
Well, listen, again, thank you so much for driving down and being on the show. We greatly appreciate it. We have one more guest coming up. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Our final guest today is Patti Muller. Patti is an artist, grew up in St. Bernard Parish, so you are from the area.
Yes.
Patti, I just, what you've done here, words do no justice to what this is all about. So when I say I'm going to let you take it away, I am going to let you take it away, but this is a stained glass quilt. As an artist, this is one of the first projects that you've done. And the sad thing here is television, I know it's pretty, but it just doesn't show the correct respect for what this piece is. Absolutely, it's just beautiful. It's incredible how heavy it is. The detailed work that you've put into this is just absolutely unbelievable. So I am going to let you tell our audience what the story behind this and where this is going is just absolutely incredible. you do a better job of telling the story than I do. So I will let you tell what this is.
Well, thank you, Steve. My friend Millie Vaudier is invited me to come on the show to present the quilt. I made this quilt to honor the 26 lives that were lost at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. It'll be 2 years, December 14th. And after that horrific loss, I had bought a kiln, and I was going to start to fuse glass, and I always wanted to make glass quilts, and so then I thought this would be a perfect project. So I started, you know, laying out the squares for the kids. The children are, well, because they're all angels. So the kids are hearts with wings in their initial, and then the teachers are apples with wings in their initial. Wow. And so the kids are in alphabetical order like they would be in class, and I tried to make the squares to, you know, be colors that I thought the kids might like, or just trying to glean their personality from the photograph. Yeah. So put the kids in order and tried to make them fun, and the little wings are fancy. When the light hits it from the back, they look like they're flying, because the backs of all of these are transparent glass.
And they are, yes, they truly are.
Yeah, and then the teachers, I did the apples, and I put the teachers on the outside with this vine. This vine is copper fused in glass, because the teachers wrap themselves around these kids. And I wanted the teachers to be protecting them just like they did in the classroom.
That, I mean, that's just, and again, I hope our audience, it's kind of hard to tell on TV how intricate this actually is. And I mean, I don't know how long it took you to do this, but I mean, this is the work that went into this is just absolutely incredible. I know you mentioned that, talk about the event that's going to take place on December the 11th, because we've got about 2 minutes left.
It's been, I've been asked to have the panel at the National Vigil for Gun Violence Victims on December 11th in the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. So a lot of the folks from the Newtown Alliance and the families involved in this terrible tragedy will be there as well. So it'll be in the cathedral, and then from the cathedral they're going to pack it on the bus, and it will be go back to Newtown. So its permanent home will be somewhere in Newtown. And
I mean, it's sad, but this piece goes with you. It doesn't come back with you, but it stays in Sandy Hook. And I was asking you if we thought it might go to the new school. You don't know. It may.
It may
you really
or may
don't
not.
know. May or may not. But the point is, what you've done with this and what it represents, it's just outstanding. So I wish you the very best of success in the travels that this piece is getting ready. I just appreciate so much that you've come on the show to share this with us. And I wish there was a way that our audience could really see and appreciate what this represents. So I hope it goes to the new school. It'd be awesome to have this piece there, but congratulations to you. If this is your first piece, good Lord, I can't wait to see what comes next. You've been watching Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.